Did you hear what said?
Did you hear what said?
Did you hear what said?
And here we go. And she's back. She's back. Mom, thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
For sure.
Thanks for having me.
I know. Again, random, right?
Yes, random, on the fly. Let's do this.
Yeah. That was pretty good. A good meal, huh? Southern comfort.
Yes.
That was delicious.
Yeah,
It was
it
delicious.
was. First time.
First time.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you get?
The quesadillas.
Got the quesadillas.
Mm-hmm. I know. I wanted the fried chicken, but you weren't having it, and so I just chose not to have it, so I can enjoy it when I do have it.
You still had the tortillas.
That's irrelevant. The fact is that you wanted the fried chicken, but you didn't want it for health reasons. So I wasn't gonna sit there in front of you and eat it.
I appreciate that. Oh,
Although
I
I did,
appreciate that.
but although I did have the beer, so I don't know.
Hey, man. Yeah. Okay.
Pick and choose.
So does what did I have? The corn tortilla tacos, the street tacos.
Street tacos.
Street
Mhm.
tacos. But we had wings and that gumbo, and that was pretty dang good.
Yeah.
So when we go out to eat, I know that because we eat like what? How often did we go eat together?
Recently, minimal, probably once a week. Previous, I like to say and tell people, me and Ted meet once a month at least.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it may be more than that. But I'd say roughly I try to meet up with you once a month at least. But lately it's been a little bit more.
It's been a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost gotten to like some weeks we get 2 times.
Yeah, but it also depends on the family. So it's like if the family's getting together for a function or a holiday or a birthday, of course we're gonna see each other then. So it's kind of like doubling up. I think we get that feeling because we do that, and then like later in the week I'm like, I had my lunch with Sid or my dinner with Sid, but then again we did just see each other, so.
Yeah, we used to schedule out our dates. I'd take you on a date. I'd show you how you really do it. I'd pick you up, and I'd take you to go watch a movie. That's how it started. Remember, it started a lot. Like we would do it every once in a while, but then it started with like going to movies. I think Father Stew was one of the first ones, and then there was another one.
Yeah.
But I'd take you and I'd pay for you, and
you try to make sure that they knew we were father and daughter. Mother and son.
I didn't.
You did.
No.
Yes, you did.
I didn't care.
Because you're like, hey, mom.
No, but it would be a mutual. I think it was a mutual thing because
I did feel awkward because that's the way it always is. I don't know why people assume.
Hey man,
like today at lunch, I felt it. I was like, I hope they don't think that we're like this is a first date kind of thing.
Yeah, I look older and you look younger. Hey, that's a compliment to both of us right there.
I just think they think cougar times 2. Ow. It's like shit. Get it, girl.
No, we look alike. We look alike.
So do a lot of couples, if you haven't noticed.
That's true.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that. What was that?
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing with you. No, I was gonna ask you. Through our evolution of, one thing I want to get to eventually. I want to get to kind of like. I want to get to going over kind of like post first part 1 and part 2 of Said. Okay. Kind of get your feedback on how you felt about it and some thoughts that you may have had, maybe kind of go over some thoughts that I have had since then, how things have like turned out since then. But before that, I want to jump into the evolution of because you were saying that you didn't order the fried chicken, and I appreciate that because it is a temptation. I wanted it, and I'm working on these like habits in life. And they're really helping me out. I mean, like, cause I had to talk with Chris, and that was just like just talking to him, man, and even talking with Oscar, even Manny. Like, I love those guys. It's just helping mentally in a lot of ways, and I've had like a lot of people reach out about it, and it's just nice that one thing I read or I was listening to today in my audiobook Goggins was talking about. He has a new book out called I forget. It's something unfinished, never unfinished. Yeah, never unfinished, which is life. It's never unfinished, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it easy. Is like it just never finishes. Like instead of thinking about there is a finish line, then we could work so much and then stop. It's like nah, dude, it just keeps going, baby, going and going and going. So, anyways, in the book he was talking about how you need a team, because whenever he ran that 244 miles or 245 mile race, he needed a team, and he was saying that he picked out these individuals specifically that he knew, not that they ran that far, but that they've done similar things that understood his mind and knew who he was and knew what he was trying to do and understood the mission, and that's all he needed. And so he was saying, like, you need to find that in a partner, in whatever you do, even if you are trying to become an athlete or something, you need to have someone there that's going to wake you up, that's going to keep you on track, that's not going to, when you don't want to eat that same old meal over and over again, and you try not to because you want to order something different or you want to make something different, and they say no, look how far you've came, this is what you're doing it for, and stay on track.
Somebody who's supportive is what you're
pretty
saying?
Much
or
supportive.
What are you saying?
Yeah, pretty much someone who's supportive. So like with you, it's nice to see that I didn't know that you did that, because I even said it. Dude, I'm craving. I want a fried chicken, but I know that
it's the first thing you said when we sat down and looked at the menu.
Yeah.
And you don't know this, but when we said that's where we're going, I'm like, I know they have a fried chicken, and I'm gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I walked in wanting. And then we both open our menu and see it.
Yeah.
You're like, but I'm not gonna get it. And I'm like, well, I was gonna get it. And I can give you a bite to soothe that craving. You're like, nah, I'm good. And I'm just like, so I'm not getting the fried chicken because that's just gonna I can't enjoy it. I couldn't enjoy it with you looking at. I'll just get something else and eat that when I can devour it, every last fried crumb of it.
When I'm not there.
When I go with somebody else.
What about your beer?
Yes, I know. I caved on that one. But if you didn't notice, I didn't initially order it, which I knew because the waiter even looked at me because he could tell in my eyes, and I just looked at him and I just looked back down. I was like, trying to fight it. Let's see how well this water goes down.
I love it.
But it's, again, I already knew that's what it's Friday, and that's what I do on a Friday, and just have one or two, and I don't know. I haven't let that one go. God's still working on me with that one.
For sure. And he is.
Although I personally don't believe drinking is a bad thing. I think everything in moderation to a point. But again, he's working on me with that. And
did you watch Did you watch the third one? The one with Chris?
Chris?
Yeah.
I have not finished it.
You haven't finished that one. So the one with Chris, whenever I told him, I was like, people like that be bothering me, because it's like when they say, oh, I don't do it. I drink, but like I'll drink on my birthday. I'll drink on our anniversary. We'll drink on this, And I told him, I was like, I want to ask those people, well, do you just cheat on your partner once a year? I don't do it all the time. I do it though every now and then, but I don't do it all the time. So, and I know that's an extreme. It's like you took it from 0 to, here, but at the same time, it's really not. It's like, well, I've been faithful all year, and I think I owe it to myself to go get me some new, a new man or a new girl for the night, just for the night. And it was really only 30 minutes that we really hung out. It was just, we knew what it was real quick, and that's all it was. Just real quick. It shouldn't hurt nothing.
It just depends on your belief, though, and that's where God's still working on me, because I don't believe it's wrong. But a lot of people do believe it's wrong, and it's 0% alcohol that you should consume, is what some people believe.
Yeah.
And then others don't, either they believe it, don't believe it. They don't have a rule that they live by regarding it. If they want it, they take it, they indulge till they're satisfied or beyond. But I feel like I'm in the middle.
I'm giving you a hard time.
I know you are, but I feel like I'm in the middle, and I feel like, which we already talked about, though, when you take one thing, it can snowball into more. So my 1 or 2 drinks on a Friday, depending on my mood, my week, my situation, can snowball into overindulging. And so, again, it's a work in progress.
So I agree, and you're absolutely right. But
Thanks for calling me out on the. You trying to get me back at the for the first podcast or something?
No, not at all.
Don't call me out on it.
No, I don't do that. No, you know me. I don't do that. I'm clean. This is where I'm going to say it to you, and I'll be honest with you on why I bring it up.
Okay.
Because there has been an evolution with me this year, right? Mm-hmm. And naturally, for some reason, like, okay, one, I want to get it out the way and just tell you why I give you a hard time sometimes. Do I ever tell you to stop drinking?
No, but we have discussions about it.
Right. But I don't ever like blatantly tell you, Mom, you need to stop drinking. Are you really ordering another beer again?
No, you don't.
Right. I let you, do your thing. And because I don't want people to think that I say that to you, because I don't. Mm-hmm. I allow you to be who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. And I know God's working on you in your own time. And I even pray for you on it.
Thanks.
But the reason why if I personally don't like you drinking is because you're a diabetic, mm-hmm. and also you're my mom, and I know scientifically and statistically what that leads to. And the if I ever had to hear, as hard as it is letting you be letting you drink and enjoy yourself, because I know you go through things in life and it's your relaxation, and you're not a horrible drunk. You're actually a really fun drunk. I know it's so weird to say, but you're a woo girl, mm-hmm. And you have a good time. And those of y'all that don't know what a woo girl is, I ain't gonna have her do it. She'll break the mic, but she's like, woo! That's when my mom is having a good
drinks in.
She's having a good time, and
mm-hmm.
you let the woo girl go have her fun.
Mm-hmm. Because it's hyping up the party, by the way.
It does. Every time you hear it, like, man, something's got to be going on over there.
It's happening. Let's go see what's happening.
Yeah, but I mean, you're my mom, and it does hurt sometimes because I do allow you to do it. I don't say nothing to it, and it kills me because everything in my body kind of has to fight it and say the reason why I don't want you to. But it's just like, because I know that scientifically speaking and statistically speaking, and I don't know the exact statistics, but there is a possibility that you may have get a body part amputated, mm-hmm. and or worse, whatever the case is. And that's what kills my heart, is that if I ever had to sit there and hear that news from you, because you can't hide that
No.
if you got to get amputated, right?
Yeah.
So it's, if I ever heard that news about, like, hey, I've been drinking so much, guys. Doctor says that it's too late now. They didn't catch it because I don't go to the doctors regularly. I don't know if you do or don't, but like, let's just say, because stuff happens even if you do go to the doctors regularly. It's like, well, this came out of nowhere. We didn't run the test on it. And you get amputated, your feet or an arm or whatever. I don't know how I would feel about that with myself. I mean, I would be fine. I'd sit okay with it because I understand that you're your own person. You make your own decisions, kind of like with me, right?
Absolutely.
So I would feel okay with it. But at the same time, as what you said to me, as a loving mother, you can't help but feel. And as a loving son to his mother, I can't help but feel that little bit of like, there has to be a word for it.
What part are you responsible for, and what could you have done to prevent it?
Right. And so in my way, but I don't drink because of me.
Yes.
That's the only reason why I don't drink. I do it because it personally helps me out, and that's why I don't drink. But ironically, in our evolution, I remember recently, because I pay for all of our stuff, and I don't mean to say that just to say it. I mean it because you're my mom, and I think any guy out there, if you have a mom, you better be paying for her stuff, and don't let her pay for nothing, because that's how I was raised. I was raised by really good men to always take care of your lady. Mm-hmm. Your mom, you open the door, pull a chair out for her, you compliment her. You're always looking to glorify her and
Mm-hmm.
treat her as such, right? And it's so funny because when we recently just went out to eat with Saiji, when we recently went out to eat not too long ago, you literally told me, I think it was at Outback, you said, I want you to stop paying for my beer. Mm-hmm. And I told you, because you said you felt bad because, in the same sense of the fried chicken, that said, it's
like you're living on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like if your level is not drinking, why would you, pay for my drinks when that's not in a way what you approve of, which is basically what you just said. Mm-hmm. You don't technically approve of it because of what it could lead to, and you would feel like you contributed to that. Exactly. In so many words.
Exactly.
But yeah, but in That's a tough one because you said so much and then I lose what I was gonna say during the process of you saying everything.
You
but
know, I talk a lot.
yeah, but I should wrote notes or something to remind me. But it's being diabetic and drinking. Honestly, to be honest with you, I had a doctor tell me that it's okay in moderation.
Give me that doctor's number.
Seriously, because he said, "Hey, do you drink this and that, or that?" Or I asked one of the two, and he's like, it's okay if you drink. So it's not the end of the world. It's not going to lead to me getting my feet cut off, but in moderation, right? Mm-hmm. And I was not drinking in moderation. I was drinking in excess, and it was becoming a problem. And when I realized that, I tried to back off, which was a struggle, and it took some time. And then over that time, it's slowed down, less drinking, but I have yet to let it 100% go. And but it's more moderation, probably what the doctor would approve of, versus what I was doing before, which he would not approve of.
Right.
But in forms of diabetes, though, also there's a whole lot that goes with that. And also, I can die in an accident tomorrow, or today when I leave here. So just also want to live life and not live it so regimented that I don't enjoy life. So
yeah. And I think
that's a very gray area to be in.
It is. And that's one doctor's opinion from another. If you go to another doctor is going to say, no, you shouldn't drink at all. But the reason why some doctors do allow you to do some of these things is because they know it causes health issues, whether they like to admit it or not. And the more health issues that you have, the more you come back, and it's more money in their pocket. So it's a double sword.
That you can have a glass of wine a day. I don't even know if it's pregnant women can have a glass of wine a day. Somebody said that.
I think pregnant women can have at least one glass of wine.
So I also feel like during COVID, I didn't get COVID because I drank so much. So I say that. I know this is like probably the lamest theory, but it's how I think, because
if you're gonna hear this right now, just know that you don't get any CDC, no information. It should be taken serious on this. Go do your research, but go ahead.
This is the talk you have with your kid on the couch that has no grounds, nothing to stand ground on. It's just my theory. Mm-hmm. Okay, so obviously a lot of people during COVID drank a lot. We were also quarantined, right? Yeah. So none of us got COVID. Obviously, when you get back out in the day-to-day business, you interact with people, you end up getting COVID. Mm-hmm. Well, we were still drinking highly, right? So we didn't get it. So we kind of joked it was because of the alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, every time I feel sick, if I haven't drank all week, I go to work, come home feeling like I'm getting the flu or something, I'll have a few beers. I'll drink something.
Yeah.
And then, I think recently, one time I didn't drink anything. I was like, no, that's silly theory. Don't need it. I got sick. I should have had a beer. Should have had more than one beer. No joke.
I think it's like anything, though. If you take anything out of your diet that you're used to, the body naturally starts to get deprived of it. But it's used to operating on go with whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's good or bad for your body. It's like fried food. If you eat fried food all the time for your whole life, and then let's just simple it down to caffeine for sodas. For someone who drinks sodas all the time,
caffeine or any kind of
anything.
Caffeine. Caffeine's in other drinks. Caffeine's in coffee, obviously. People still drink coffee, not just soda. Sodas are bad for various reasons, but
right. But it's just the same thing. The body starts getting sick. But it's like, well, why? I swear I don't have any headaches when I drink the Dr. Pepper. Well, it's because your body is needing it. You haven't gone
withdrawals.
You haven't gone long enough without it for your body to get adjusted, and it takes time. You caved, and but I mean, like we always talk about, to each his own, and you've already admitted that you're in your walk with God, and technically, there was getting bad for a little bit there. Not horrible. You weren't horrible, right? You weren't but it was getting there. Mm-hmm. And compared to then, yes, you are doing good, and I don't know if you would ever not, and I don't care to hear, honestly, personally, I don't care to hear if you, I don't want to hear the words, because you know me, I believe solely in the tongue. You know, you speak what you say, and if you say, I'm never going to give it up, I don't want to hear it personally. I just like, you're in your own walk with it, and I think you're doing fine. I just like to bring it up because of the sense of like our evolution of like, it's funny how you didn't eat the fried thing, and I appreciate you not doing that because it it helps me in not being around it, like kind of like out of sight, out of mind.
That's
right?
what I thought.
And I appreciate it. And then also kind of like what Chris and I talked about, you know, we were just like suggesting if you want to exercise, just start with trying to get your shoes on, which we didn't, but I'm like elaborating more into it. Just start with trying to get your shoes on and then put them off, see how that feels. If you could even do that, you know, but if you can't do that, then like walk outside to the edge of the driveway and then walk back up, you know, and that's great. You know, like don't kill yourself over incremental growth. Right. And then let's just walk down to the mailbox or wherever, you know, I don't know where people's mailbox are mine. Like I have to walk down to it and come back. That's long as it is. Right. It's a lot of energy, but just keep doing it little by little. And with you, it's little by little that you're getting better. And I don't know. I really appreciated that. You know, well, what I'm trying to say is, my bad, is that, you know, you ordered that water at first, incremental growth. You ordered that water and you ordered that water for that little bit, you know.
Well, we've been on lunches and dinners and I've only had water.
Yeah, because I have to take you to a non-alcoholic place, like Jason's Deli.
Not pretty sure it was my pick.
Oh yeah, well
same.
That's
and
yeah.
and if you and you probably haven't noticed that I have ordered water and no beer recently.
No, I have noticed, and I appreciate it, and I actually enjoy it. But
that's why I got 2 today, because I was catching up.
I love you, dude. So what were you saying when we were sitting down? Remind me again. You said, hey, the other night we went out to eat at Chewy's, and you didn't get a beer.
No, I didn't.
And then
I wanted to text you the next morning because when I woke up, I felt good. The thought in my head that first popped in my head was, hey, I feel good because I didn't have that beer. And I was only going to have one beer. Where some people, I guess, could be buzzing off of one beer, but I do now because I don't drink as much. So, but I did. I felt good. And I was going to text you that. And I think I got busy and didn't do it. But I just wanted you to know because I felt like it was growth.
I think that is growth, incremental growth.
Because I got to where when I would drink however many it was, one or two, I would wake up the next day and I'd feel nasty. And I'm like, why do I keep doing this to myself? You know, and it's like, don't do it today. You don't need it. This is what you don't like to feel like, right? And sure enough, you know, have another one or two or even just a one. And it's like, I don't feel good.
You know, it's so funny. I don't know if I should say it, but like, I feel like it's a form of suicide in its own light. Like alcohol, smoking cigarettes, all this shit that all this stuff we're not supposed to be intaking. I feel like it's its own form of suicide. Like, yeah, you may not say that you think about suicide, you ever want to kill yourself, but look at your habits. It's literally killing you. You're literally knocking years off your life. And yeah, it's the excuse of like, you know, we could drive home right now and wreck. So, you know, YOLO, like live. Yes. You only live once. Like, you know, like may as well, because what's preventing from? And it's just like, but is that the life to live though? And the only answer to that question is to that person.
True.
That's the only thing that matters. Like my opinion doesn't matter. No one opinions matter. Yeah. Only what fits. You know,
your lifestyle,
Christina.
And
only
your
what fits. Said. Yep. Because it's all about what matters.
Yeah.
That's it. But. Yeah, well, I don't know. It was a good lunch. That's so funny what goes on at our lunches, huh? We're not thinking about anything. It's not just a lunch. It's like every lunch that you and I have had, it's always like a growth thing. Like it's so funny because we have it once a week, but the amount of growth that I have seen in you and I, not just in our relationship this year because we've been seeing each other a lot more and stuff. Yeah. But like in what we do in our lives, it has been growing. Like, and it's been a battle too. Oh, yeah. Has it been a battle?
Well, we also started like Bible study this year. Were we doing it last year?
We started pandemic. hit when we were already in it. I think we were in 2019 when we started.
Pandemic didn't start till 2020.
I get it, but I think in 2019 is when we started it, and then the pandemic hit, and then we went, we stopped it for a little bit, and then it was kind of like, all right, let's get back into it towards the end of 2020 or mid to end 2020.
Seriously, that far back?
It's been about a year and a half, almost 2 years now.
I don't realize it's been that long.
No, it's been about a little close to 2 years now. Because I say that because I say 2 years because like if you take out like the pandemic, there was a couple months where we were just like, hey, everybody just stay home, blah blah blah, and then we finally got back into it. So collectively, we have been doing Bible study collectively and like for 2 years.
I think we did a Zoom. Is that why we did the Zoom?
Mm-hmm.
Because but it wasn't a Bible study because it was just kind of chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why we did that?
I was trying to do Zoom to get more people from the family that wanted to log in on it to do it, but it's kind of hard when it's just difficult when we got so much going on, you know.
True.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who are you?
I didn't know if you had.
So
so
you pause for a moment. That means I get to talk.
No,
right?
I mean,
host ran out of stuff to say, so that means host number 2 gets to pick up the pieces.
Not at all.
Yes. Are we not playing like badminton here or table tennis or whatever the heck it's called? No, we're not.
This is Christina Said. This is gonna be Christina Said. So hey, take
claim
the mic.
what you will, but I'd say wait till the end before you title it. So,
Mom said.
Shoot, and I forgot what I was gonna say.
I wonder why.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I don't know. I forgot last time too, and all I had was water. So don't start. That's what I do. Apparently, I drink Diet Coke, and they say that has issues with your memory. But dang it, you were quiet. I was gonna say something.
You eat so clean for a diabetic. It's
clean?
Awesome.
Eat clean?
Yeah.
I eat better now than I used to. I used
really
to crave sugary stuff all the time. Being diabetic, of course you would.
Yeah.
And the more sugary stuff you eat, the more you crave it. And it was like nonstop. I couldn't get enough.
It's hard, man. It's hard. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Living that life, it because you see everybody else doing it, and like I talk about a part X, man. So much stuff comes in me. It's just like, bro, just have that one fried chicken, baby. Like it's just a chicken fried steak. Just
like
one.
Today, you
have
can't
a bite.
Take one bite, satisfy your craving, and say, "Oh, I'm good. I had that one bite."
Yeah.
Just like I tried your gumbo, I had one bite. I was good.
Yeah.
It was delicious, by the way. I wanted the rest of the bowl.
It was
or
so
cup,
good.
But
it was so good. I killed that thing. It but it's like it's the floodgate. I know it's gonna open. I just know it.
True.
Because it's just gonna put these negative thoughts in my head. Like I told you about that Sprite. I think the Sprite might still be out there, actually. But last night I go sit down and actually I went to have lunch yesterday by myself at Ichiban, and I think y'all were all busy. I was gonna hit you up, but so I go have lunch at Ichiban, and I really like those. I go eat a lot by myself. Like if I don't eat with you, like I'm usually eating out by myself, or I'll even go watch movies by myself. It's really weird, but I like it. It's a lot of solo time, and so I'm like sitting there and I'm eating. And I want a Sprite then too, but I'm like, nah, let's finish this salad. Let's finish this. You know, I always eat half.
Have salad at the movies?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
At Ichiban.
For whatever reason, I was picturing at the movies.
They do actually have salads at the movies, at least at Star Cinema Grill.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have a full kitchen. Anyways, so I take it home. I take half of it home, and because I take half of it home. Anyways, later on that night, I go to eat it, and everything in me wanted a Sprite. Everything. And I haven't had a Sprite in a long time, but everything in me is craving a Sprite. Like, dude, do you know how good this is going to be with Sprite? So I put it out. Cold Sprite too. I put it out because the other one was hot, because I had left it there for a while, right, for temptation reasons. And then so I take this cold one out, I put it out, and then I put my jug, the water jug, behind it. And when I got thirsty, I went for that water. And then I kept eating, and then it would hit me again. I want a Sprite. Like, dude, just take one sip. Come on, just one. It's like, nah, give me that water. Drown it. We'll actually drink more water because you're wanting that Sprite. And I know it sounds so crazy what I do to myself, but it's just like.
It's like you're in Sed's boot camp.
I am in a boot camp. I am trying to get into a boot camp for myself because there's places I want to go. There's places I want to go. There's people I want to have on here that to have certain conversations. I don't want to seem like a fake.
Yeah.
Big
Take
thing.
self-discipline.
Yeah, I don't want to seem like a hypocrite, and that's why I do it, because I also want to be a good example, like to the family, and it's actually helping, because obviously I don't ever tell you anything about nothing, but the fact that today, like I said, you did that for me was so kind, because I would have just looked at it and just been like, you know what I would have did?
Drooling.
You know what they do? I've heard with people, they'll who are trying to like weightlift, like be a bodybuilder, they'll smell pizza, like they'll order a pizza, right? They'll smell it and then they'll eat the vegetable, because it's on your nose, so it kind of like tricks the brain in a certain way that of what you're eating.
Well, I'm just gonna say that's
Is
silly because they paid for the pizza. You might as well eat the pizza instead of just smell it. They throw it in the trash for health reasons.
Funny.
No, I mean if that works for them, that's good.
Isn't that crazy? How it tricks the brain like that?
Yeah.
I used to do that. I used to, because I every time that I used to eat when I used to smoke a lot, it wasn't the fact of the smoke that I liked or whatever it was. It was the habitual putting my hand up and smoke, like like act like I'm smoking, because it was just a habit of doing that. So what I had to do, and what someone told me is to get some nuts, or to get some like snacks, like candy, whatever it was. And they were like, dude, just snack on it. You might gain some weight. That's why smokers kind of almost gain weight, is because they're constantly snacking. But it's tricking the mind, because you're doing that. You know,
I get it.
Yeah.
It's just like it almost seems like it would be a nervous thing that you're having to stay busy doing something.
Pretty much. Isn't it weird? I think it's weird. How strong the mind is what I'm saying. It's like,
but just for the record, with my dental background, don't use candy.
Oh, you know I don't eat candy.
I'm just saying, for anybody who may hear and think that that's a good idea, candy's a bad idea, because it's going to coat your teeth and cause cavities and rampant cavities if you snack on sugar candy all day. Just FYI.
Yeah, no,
but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, no, you should. I mean, I got these new mixed trail mix bag. It's from HEB. It's HEB brand. It's the fire. What are they called? You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's like a Chex Mix, but it's spicy season.
The heat. They're called heat something heat. They're good. They're real good. I know. Right.
Sound like they're
okay.
talking.
Yeah.
What's our voices?
Hope they're okay. So I wanted, like I said, when I started off, I wanted to talk about post first said.
Yeah.
So
I feel good about my hosting abilities.
I think people probably may like the way that you hosted compared to me, but what's different is that I'm like your son.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So
I know you inside and out.
Yeah.
Almost.
So you know how to guide it, you know how to whatever, but man, try doing it to somebody you have no idea about, or you know just a bit, and you're trying to dig. It's an art that I'm like learning.
Absolutely.
For sure, but you were good at it,
but I do know you, and I also knew everything we were about to talk about for the most part.
I didn't, obviously.
As it went, I still already knew it.
Yeah.
Like, I've known you for, 27 years now?
I think so.
Are you going to tell everybody how we met? No? 27 years.
I don't even want to know.
I think I'm the longest one you've known so far.
I don't want to hear that backstory. Off camera.
Pass.
Please. Yeah.
So, okay. So, yeah.
Because you called me, right?
Said. Mm-hmm. And it was a good vulnerable time, which is I thought what you wanted to do. I don't know that you wanted anybody to be that vulnerable and that in depth. And then of course, once it's done, you maybe have second thoughts like, oh crap, what did I do? And now it's out, and you just got to face the music with that one. But it definitely, through our conversations and our catching up on the day to day, you've gotten several, comments, messages of positive feedback, and people who relate, and so that's good. And so on with your other podcast that you've posted, same thing. So that's a really good thing. So it's going where you're wanting it to go. But as a mother and a host, just kidding. as a mother,
Full-time mother, part-time host.
it was a joke.
I know.
So-
I know.
So, as a mother, it's something that's already in the back of my mind for you as my child, and my concerns is where you stand. Just to say it bluntly, suicidal wise. Because through the years when you lived on your own in your own apartment and we wouldn't hear from you, and I'm trying to be that mom that's not a helicopter mom, an overbearing mom, that mom that has to hear from you every day, like let you live your life without checking in every day, because that's how you grow. But at the same time, when anybody, whether it be your child, at your age, or an older person, if they're living alone, people need to check on them, and somebody needs to hear from them on a daily basis. Because for an example, my sister's father-in-law, who I went to visit because he's elderly, his wife passed away a few years ago. He told me he had fell Friday coming out of the restroom and hit his head, and he's on a baby aspirin a day. So he said he took a chunk out of his head up here and bled out quite a bit, because that's a blood thinner and you're going to bleed a lot.
Wow.
So you want to check on people. Somebody somewhere needs to have something set in place, a regimen on tag team it with other family members. And if you're the only one, then you just have to be that one, that bugaboo that says good morning every day and good night every night, so that last point of contact. Has anybody heard from this person?
Yeah.
And that's what we would do with you. Time would go by, work, you get busy with work, come home, cook, go to bed, this kind of thing. And then you're like, hey, haven't heard from Said, And then, you ask your dad, have you heard from Said? Ask your brothers. Nobody's heard from Said. Okay, no big deal. You're living your life. But then, each of us reach out to you and everybody's like, nah, he's not responding. So then, red flags go up and you're like, well, how's he doing? Where is he at? And then the next thought is, hopefully he's okay. Was there an accident, or where was he mentally? And that's the tough part. I don't know how to handle the mental side of it. The physical side, accidents happen. Go by, check on you, knock on your doors, see if you're physically there, see if your car is there. Maybe you're inside hurt. But the mentally part, how do you mentally check on somebody? Because we can stop in, you say, yeah, I'm good, but we see you're not good. Like, we see in your eyes, hey, this kid's not in a good place. But I don't know how you see suicide on Facebook, like family members who pass away and they post, their person passed away from suicide. And then I always ask myself, and it's like, how could they have prevented that? How could anybody prevent it? Is it preventable? And if it is, what do we need to do and what can we do? Because it's a mental thing. I really just don't know. And in saying all that, from your chapter 1, said, and you were in that dark place at one point around that time.
Yeah.
And then today, like, how do I know? Like, at lunch, I didn't mention it, but typically it's always on my mind. If you're on a low of a negative 5 feelings, and I see it, and we're sitting there eating, and we make it through the dinner or whatever, and you don't mention it, I don't know what to tell you or do, because I'm not trying to pry, because I don't know how to handle it. And then if you're like on a level 10, you're on the top of the world feeling good, I don't want to bring you down by mentioning it, because I just feel like on either spectrum, you could still have that hovering over you. So how are you doing in that aspect, by the way?
Well, before I answer that, I wanted to ask you, you said compared to my first time and then how I am now, how you see me today?
Yes.
What do you mean by that? What do you see?
What do I see? I see you in a better place, but I fear that, are you just, so focus is one thing. Like, I feel like in life, if you're having rough times, it can bring you down and you can kind of snowball into negative thoughts or whatever that bring you into more negative thoughts that bring you into, what am I doing here? I don't need to be here. Maybe.
Correct.
I don't know, because I've never experienced that. So trying to understand, you or anybody who goes through something similar, and especially as a mom, like, how do you help that person? Because I don't feel like the mental issue is the same as the drug issue. I don't know. I feel like the drug issue, you're going out there, you're purchasing the drugs or however you obtain them, and you're doing them. Same thing with the alcohol. You're saying, hey, give me another beer here, give me another beer. At some point, as a grown man or a grown person, you have to say, no, I don't need the beer, which is where you got, right? But mental issue, it's like, it's mental. It's there, it's in your head, and you can't. And maybe that is it. Maybe you have to mentally help control it, or maybe it's not mental. It's like a health chemical imbalance that causes people to go down that path, and they need a medication to help balance them. Or some people can just focus on something more positive, which is what it seems like the route you have taken, like the tools that you were using to kind of direct your thoughts and not to be in that dark place that you were at, and you continue to focus on positive things in the future and moving forward with your podcast and your other goals that you've set for yourself. So maybe that's it, having tools, but I just don't know. I don't know how to, and I don't know how to check on you.
Yeah, the tools help. Our weekly lunches help. Sometimes even a phone call helps. I wouldn't say I'm suicidal though, because the thing is that like I know some people who are really truly like they are suicidal. They attempt and they're like whatever.
Did you say that on the first one or you didn't?
What I said on the first one is that I was having a little bit, because it's just how you perceive it. And maybe because it was that was a rough spot. I mean, you catch me on a spotlight. That's why I try to tell everybody that I've met, just put yourself in think about your worst time in your entire life and just catch it on camera and post it for everybody. It's pretty much where I was at.
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's not like, because you're emotional. You're not, yes, you're speaking clearly, but you're not, because you're trying to gather your emotions. How are you supposed to speak strongly on something if this is your first time kind of back in it again? Or for my instance, it was again, because I had been in there before, but never faced it until that time. So I think I said something like, yeah, I had been suicidal pretty much all week or that night or whatever. But what it was that I didn't know where it was coming from. And I realized through talking to you where it was coming from. It was coming from my past whenever I was on drugs. And it was stemming from there. It wasn't my current state.
And you not facing your past.
My past.
Okay.
Yeah, not facing my past. So it was like, it wasn't my current state like, oh, I am suicidal, I'm ready to take. No, it's like I am feeling something that is from somewhere, but I don't know where. And I had to dig deep in my mind to figure where that was where that was at. And it came from that drug time, that's all it came from. So, but if somebody is feeling suicidal, what I think it is that your thoughts are really getting to you and you need to get out of your head. What's been helping me, like I said, is like not only the journaling, but the audio stuff where I actually record myself and I'm talking to myself and I'm saying, hey, this is what you're thinking. This is how you are. And I'm being taught that in that book. And I think it's like a continuous thing of like growing. It's a continuous thing of growing for me. It is. I need to start exercising more. I need to start, and I look good, but just because somebody is fit or skinny does not mean that they exercise. Hold up. I want to make sure they're okay.
Okay, you pausing?
No.
Or
it should be fine. They're probably wrestling each other.
It's a little bit different sound, right?
It is.
Like they're stuck.
Yeah.
You want me to go check or what?
No. I'm just trying to give them some time to figure it out between themselves, because then they'll realize I don't like that stuff.
So it only sounds like one.
Anyways, no, so I think talking it out with you helped. And I think talking it out with you helped. I know exercising helped it out a lot. And I was never there. I hadn't faced that part of me before. And I think you need to face that. You need to face whatever it is that you feel like you're running from. If you feel like something's off mentally and you're not in a good spot or a good space, you're probably, honestly, in my personal opinion, with my experience, I'm not saying this is what it is and this is like a solution to suicide or anything of those negative thoughts, but you're probably running from your darkness, is what I'm learning in this book. is that like it's like basically turn the lights off in a room and it's really dark. But if you allow yourself to sit in that darkness and adjust your eye, let your eyes adjust, I'll be able to see these cameras. I'll be able to see these mics.
Yeah.
Very faintly, but then if I stay in there a little bit longer, I could really see them, right? So same thing with your thoughts. You feel like you're in a dark spot. You feel like you're, whatever. And some people just run from them. And they have a lot of pity about it. And you should, I mean, in a way, but not really. It's cool to have pity and understand that you're feeling bad. But it's not cool to it's not right to not do anything about it. Face it. Stop running from it. You need to face it. And then that's what I did. I was facing it. I was like, all right, let's take inventory.
So own it.
Own it, baby.
Don't let it own you.
Don't let it own you. What's going on right now? Why am I feeling like this? Track it back. Everything has a reason. If you get in an argument with somebody and y'all were cool talking at first, track it back. Okay, we started off really good. Whenever I showed up, we were good. We had a good time. But then, whoa, something blew up. Went 0 to 100 real quick. And so then take it from the end and backtrack it. Like, okay, so we had an argument, then it went here, then it went here, then it went here. And then you kind of pinpoint the part where it's like, oh, that's what was said that threw it off. Or maybe it could have been, or maybe it couldn't have. And sometimes you need the other person's help to kind of iron that out. But if it's just with yourself, right, and it's just your thoughts, which is typically what it is, that's you're going through your own thoughts with your own self. You don't have another person. That's just a scenario. For me, it was like, let's dig into my own thoughts of where was I, and I had to have a conversation with myself of like, when did things get bad? Was it always like that? And the problem about the brain is it's really good about putting up defense mechanisms to where it blocks that part out of your life. And it's a defensive mechanism that we create within ourselves to protect ourselves, our mental state. We shut it out, and you got to go digging for it. And that's the hard part. But once you find, like I did, I found it, and it's like, all right, well then now I know what the problem is. What am I going to do about it? I'm going to move on. I'm going to move forward, move on, and I'm going to control what I can control, which is my daily thoughts, my daily work ethic, doing my goal of what I want to be in life, which is helping people get better with this. That's my goal. And it's like, all right, let's start reaching out to more people. Let's bring more people on. Start having better conversations. Learn how to become better at your art of having a conversation. Cedric, what's your skill in life? I know how to talk to people. I know how to get them to talk to me in a way of like not forcing it, but just being like, hey, we're on a common ground. And I figured out my skill, and it's like, I love doing this. I feel good about it. I love exercising. I love all these things, what it's doing for me, and I want to relate that to other people. So I started working on that, and that's why I've gotten better. I was in a horrible state, and what helped me out with that horrible state was having somebody listen. Although we posted it, and it is what it is, I'm glad because it did help out so many people. So many people have reached out to me.
Your comments on that helped you as well.
Oh, dude, yeah. It helped out a lot. A lot of people were just like, hey, you're not alone. And it was about, a breakup, or it was about, drugs, like their family member had been in it, or just hey, proud of you for doing that. It's really hard to come out there and just put something out there like that, but you're probably helping out a lot of people. It was a mixture of it all. And it was a lot of people. And
so since then you found where you already had goals, but you really maybe kind of let them fall to the side in some areas of your life. So you've become more focused on that and directed towards that instead of in other places that weren't exactly going the way you wanted them to go.
I gave my
things that you have control over, by the way.
Yeah, things I
and
have.
The things you don't. You've kind of set those aside.
Yeah, exactly. Things that I have control over, and not only that, things that are benefiting me and where I'm at in my life. It's not holding me down or holding me back, because life is going to do that to you. It's going to have certain things in your life that is holding you back, and I'm done with that. I'm done. I want everything that I have in my life. That's why I told you I don't drink because I don't like to. Not that I don't like to drink. I know why I don't drink, because of the person that comes out. Not that I'm a bad drunk, but the person that comes out. But I don't drink because who I surround myself with make me drunk naturally. They make me high naturally. And if you make me feel as if I was back on drugs, or how I feel when I eat something fried, or how I feel when I used to smoke a cigarette or smoke a vape, whatever it was, that feeling, that shameful feeling, if I feel that way with you, it makes it so much easier on me to just be like, yeah, that's not right. It's not clean in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm learning from like my exercising habits of pushing myself, and I'm learning through my eating habits of eating correctly, and learning to say no to certain things that I know truly right now, it may be good. It may taste good. It may feel kind of good, but I know long term, it has no place in my heart and my life. So I'm moving on with that. Screw that, because it's gonna take up way the longer. Because eventually I'm gonna get there. Well, no, actually no, because it could turn me completely away from it. But in my world, how I think, I have somewhere where I'm going, and the more I fight those urges, and the more I'm more disciplined, the quicker I'm gonna get there. When I drink that Sprite, if I take a sip, if I eat that fried food, that just made me take that many more steps back to get to that point. And I'm not doing that. I've worked too hard. These past few weeks, I've worked too damn hard. This past year, my whole life since my testimony time, my 6 years ago, since I gave up that time,
Yeah.
I've worked too damn hard to be going the other way. I haven't. I went through all that to help out people, and I'm ready to go like set off.
Takes a lot to stay disciplined.
Boy, does it. And it's like, it's crazy. Like, yeah, I'm alone, and I know I don't respond to you guys, but sometimes I don't like responding because I don't want the help. And I know that's a horrible thing that I'm trying to learn, but I don't want the help. I want to figure it out my damn self. But I'm my oldest child. So I went like 5 years alone. And I don't know if it stems from that, but it's always been like a thing about me where I want to figure it out on my own. I don't know what it is, and I like it that way.
Yeah.
But I need to not be that way
Occasionally, you
sometimes.
just need to text, "I'm alive," and then that's good.
Yeah, well, whenever you don't answer my call, I text you 911, I'm dead. I think I've done it. I said 911, I need help. I get that from Michael Scott, because he says, a lot of people they wouldn't answer his phone calls. So now what he does is he texts them 911, call me or whatever. And then they call him and they're like, what's the emergency? He's like, oh, nothing. Like, you just weren't answering my phone calls. But, so I know you were concerned. You were concerned with what people would possibly say and how they would feel. And you were like, man, what if you get negative comments? Which, by the way, I haven't got anything negative.
Yeah, but it's probably coming.
Yeah,
It's
if it
gonna
does, oh well.
But I was concerned if you would be able to take it, because I realized after the fact, I really felt like you were, because I watched the podcast and I felt like you were at a more vulnerable state than I realized in different ways than what I realized.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I set you up. I felt like I set you up, and I felt like you weren't going to be able to handle the negativity, and that was going to make you spiral, and that had me worried.
I think for some people it will. Not to cut you off, but I think for some people it would. For me, the type of person I am, I had to, and I'm going to look back on it, I've already have. I'm the type of person that and that's just, you have to sometimes lose it to know what you had. And then that's when you really ask yourself, am I willing to put in the work to get back what I feel like I'm owed and what's mine? Or what I deserve? Maybe not get it back, but what's coming to me. Do I feel like I owe it to myself? Do I feel worthy enough? Am I good enough? And you know what? Damn it. Yeah, I am. There's something coming in my life where it's like, I'm putting in the work, and it seems like maybe the rewards aren't coming, or I'm not reaping the benefits yet. But if I keep putting in the work, I keep working on myself, I keep being kind, I keep trying to help out people, I keep trying to be a good leader, be a good example, eat correctly, live healthy, live right. Sure, I can get blindsided by a vehicle one day. Sure. But I literally told my friend, her and I were talking on the phone last night. I literally told her, I said, if I were to die today, I would be so happy, like from a natural cause, like from whatever it was, right? I would be so happy with my life. Like I really would, because I have truly like dug deep into my soul to figure out who who I am. I love it. Like, I'm so happy with myself. I know it sounds crazy, but it took that video to get me to where I'm mentally right now. And I feel more with God. I feel like when I said that, I always heard people saying like, well, rest with God and find peace in his strength. And I was like, yeah. But I was always confused when I heard that. Like, what do you mean by that? I know, it's like, what do you mean by it? What does that even mean? And it wasn't until I had that conversation with you about, hey, let God have it, focus on yourself. And that's what I'm doing. I'm letting him work on whatever needs to be worked on for me. All he's asking for me is to just do the behaviors and the habits now. And it'll just come when it needs to come. And I truly have a peace with him. Like, it's this is serenity I can't even explain. It's unexplainable. The energy is unexplainable of like, everything's going to be okay. Keep doing what you're doing. And it's good. It's just so weird. It's hard to explain, but I had to go through that and whatever for me to be where I'm at now. And I think the quicker and the sooner that it happened, like it did, allows me to, because the type of person I am, when I want something, I want it and I go get it. And that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome. Feels great.
My personal opinion is giving it to God is the key.
It is.
Giving up that you can fix it, you can do something, and yeah. So
thank you, by the way. Seriously, thank you for that. I know we weren't supposed to post it that night, and it was just supposed to be a video that I... It
was possible, but we didn't know where we were going with it.
Yeah, that I look back on it, and... but it was beautiful. I actually haven't watched it since, and I know I need to.
In the right time, you will.
Yeah.
If there is a right time, or you may never. It's okay. You were there. You heard it.
I said it. Said it.
Said.
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you ending it. Are we good?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
We've talked so much about me.
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
It was a good...
You tried.
Hey, man. We didn't have any intentions on coming in here anyways. So, and again...
Thanks for the update on how you're doing, because that's what I wanted to know.
We'll see.
You seem like you're in a better place. For the moment, you have the tools that you need to stay focused and keep yourself from going in a dark place. So...
Yeah, I have a good family. That's my tool. I have God.
Very fortunate.
Yeah,
because some don't.
Very
many
fortunate.
Don't.
And if not, like Woody says, you have a friend in me. You have a friend in me. And I've already talked to a few friends when they're going through it, and I will stop what I am doing just to talk to you.
Or reach out to somebody and
I
say,
will.
I need help.
Yeah, reach
Anybody.
out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
people care.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Don't do it alone, because it's hard to do it alone. It really is. It's easy when you do it with someone else. Just find that one vulnerable person that you can be vulnerable with, and release it. Let yourself. Don't worry about what you're saying. Just let it out. Be emotional. You're human. It's okay to not be perfect, and to let it go. And if anything, you always have God. And I know sometimes for some, even Christians, that's not as easy as it sounds to just, because you don't get a response. So just talk to somebody about it, like anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. If not, Google the suicide number.
Yeah. And
call them. Somebody's got to pick up the phone.
They'll be all right. They will. They'll be okay. Mom, if I know you mentioned that you do dentistry, so if you would like, if somebody wanted to come get their teeth cleaned, what are some things that what could you explain your services to them? And if they wanted to reach out and come,
to my office,
to your office
that I work at,
yes, what would they need to do in order to do so?
I work for a dentist who is a general practice, which means we do the basic dentistry. And if you want to know where I work without saying it on here, you can find me on Facebook. I don't have all that extra stuff. What is my name on Facebook? Christina Vargas Guerrero. So, and it'll say where I work, or you can message me on Messenger, and we could set up an appointment and get you taken care of.
There you go. She's great.
Yeah, because Seti goes.
I do go.
Yeah.
I do go.
It goes.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Mom. Again, and
thanks for having me.
yeah, no, thank you for getting me to come do it again.
Yeah, it's good to know that you're in a better place, because
Yeah, absolutely.
we've seen the smiling said, but we're like, how did he get there? How did he recover?
Telling
what
you.
appears to be so easy.
Isn't it? I put myself. Put yourself.
So you haven't started doing drugs. You
Nah,
haven't. No,
hell
I know
no.
you haven't. I'm
Oh.
just saying for the record, because if I was watching your podcast and I saw you on said chapter 1, and I'm just like, and I see you on the other ones, I was like, this guy here, what's he done different to get a better night's sleep? What's the difference? So you got the tools that you're using to focus your mental on other things, on other goals, and keep moving forward.
Yes.
Which we've established.
Yeah. Stop feeling sorry for yourself, even if you have the right to feel sorry for yourself.
So are you saying you were feeling sorry for yourself?
In a way, I kind of was. In a way, I was like in my head, and I'm like, oh, poor me, kind of pity. I even said it on the first one. I said it was a pity party that I was throwing. It was literally a pity party. And some people are warranted for a pity party, but some, it's like everybody is, okay? Everybody goes through something at their own level of degree of pain or whatever it is. But what's not warranted and what you can't do is just sit there and, I want to talk so bad, like how, but like,
dwell in it. You have
yes,
to,
you can't dwell on it.
Come to a stop at some point, is what you're saying.
Yes, you have to do something about it, because you gotta stop living like that. There's so much life to be lived, and it's not that way. It's just not. Take accountability, take responsibility, and start looking at yourself and say, you know what? What can I control? What can I do? It ain't about what he did or she did to you, or what they did and they said to you that made you. No, it's about, because at a certain point you did something wrong too that could have affected the whole situation as well. Everybody is always wrong in some certain situation, all the time, like seriously, all the time. So you have to look at yourself and be real with yourself and take accountability and say, okay, do I like the attention that I'm getting, and am I pity partying myself because of the attention I'm seeking? Or, why do I want to be in this negative state of mind? And then, because you are, and if you are, good, you know what you are. Acknowledge it at first, because you probably go around saying that you have anxiety, you deal with depression, you deal with this. Okay, let's do something about it. Stop accepting defeat is what I'm trying to say. The I am victorious. I am these things. Like, take accountability, take responsibility, and self-reflect. Just start looking at yourself and saying, what can I do to better my situation? And start doing that. And I'm telling you, it starts with your surrounding. It starts with your friends. It starts with what you listen to. It starts with what you do. It is a lot of that. And if you are listening to bad music, if you are not working out, if you don't go get any sun, if you are constantly being negative and saying something pessimistic and negative all the time, that's why your life is the way it is. That's just a bottom line. Quite honestly, get off your ass, stop feeling sorry for yourself, and go make something of your messed up struggle. Because there's honestly someone out there needing and dying to hear your story. There's someone who's needing your help, and that's your job, to get through your stuff and go help someone out. That's what I'm doing. That's what everybody I bring on has been doing. Everyone. And I believe solely that it starts with only you. And go make the life that you want. You can do it. Stop being scared. Stop being scared. Go do it. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to happen. And guess what? It's supposed to happen. God wants that for you. I want that for you. You should want that for yourself. You should want to be liberated and to be happy. You should want that. And it's too much energy to be upset with somebody. It's too much energy to be not living the life that you're supposed to live. Don't think about why someone else doesn't have something and you do, or someone has something you don't. Start saying, you know what, they have that, and I'm going to go get that too, or go get something for me that's going to make me that much happy as well. Just start taking accountability, start taking responsibility. That's all I could recommend, is like, you are pitying yourself, and maybe you don't want to hear it, but you are, because I was, and that's the only reason why I feel like I have the reason to say it, and start kicking forward. I'll give you some I ams real quick, and before we end it, I'll give you some I ams. You are worthy. You are beautiful. You're handsome. You're smart. You're capable. You are determined. You're motivated. You're intelligent. You're able to talk to other people. You aren't an introvert. Don't let the internet tell you you are, whether you are or aren't. You're an extrovert whenever you get around the right people. Everybody is. So don't take that BS and just say I'm not social. No, you are when you get around the right people. So start surrounding yourself around like-minded people. Start being for yourself. Stop living so negative. And all it is that you're just pity partying yourself. And the longer you sit there shooting yourself in the foot, the longer you're going to stay there. Get up and go make something of your world, of your life. And it is scary. It is very scary to do that. But like Jordan Peterson says, it is scary to take risk. It is scary to go talk to that person. It is scary to do that thing. But what's much more scarier is being stuck in the same position that you were a year from now. Just being stuck there in the same world, and life is passing you by. And guess what? Life is passing you by. Everybody's stepping up. Somebody's doing something. So it's take it upon yourself to say, you know what? I want to go live this thing called life. I want to do it. Life's scary. You're going to die one day. I don't know if you know that, but you are. And it's time to say, how do I want to feel whenever I'm about to pass?
So like you said at the beginning with the exercise, even if it's just putting on your shoes for that day, because you don't normally put on your shoes because you're in that much of, in my picture of that, is somebody who's in such a funk in life and such a low that they're not even getting out of bed, or they're just sitting on the couch daily. So start by putting your shoes on.
Yes.
Start by putting your shoes on and walking to the mailbox and back.
Yes.
And then little by little, the exercise, the motivation, basically literally moving forward and just do more. Don't dwell in the negativity. Don't dwell in the things that you can't change.
Yes.
Dwell on what you can change.
Yes. You nerds out there, whichever one you are, one of Newton's law is that an object at rest will remain at rest until another object or force acts upon it. That's what you are right now if you're feeling negative or down in your life. Move forward. If you're not moving forward in something in your life, you're staying still. That's bottom line. Well, if you ask Chris, if you're not progressing, you're regressing. And that's the truth. And if you think that...
And that's how you get to where you were the other day.
Yeah. And I wasn't. I was being dumb. I was stuck. And I was allowing myself to be stuck whenever, obviously, gotta go. Gotta move. You can't let life pass you by, baby. It's passing you by. So, like I said, Newton's law, you're at rest. Move it. Just get it moving slightly, and it'll just naturally start going. And then there's going to be everything in you, by the way, that's going to tell you stop it. Fight that. Every time that it tells you to stop, if life is easy right now and you're not having any battles, you're not doing enough. You're just not doing enough. You're not taking inventory enough on like everything in your life. You need to just move the needle little by little every day. Don't kill yourself over it, because then you're going to burn out. But just little by little, keep it going. And eventually you'll get there. And you need a higher force to get you there, by the way. I don't like to push God onto people, but you need something outside of you to give you that energy to get you there. A good thing, because you can't do it alone. You need something to guide you. And that's a little...
That's who you believe in, yeah.
I believe in that. I believe that I want that for everybody. It's the whole point of this podcast stuff, is to get people to start being better humans. And understand you are just human, but be a better human for those around. There's someone depending on you, by the way. Someone's looking up to you. That's another thing. Whether you know it or not, someone around you is looking up to you. Whether you have a child, whether you have a brother or sister, even if you have a parent who's older than you, or obviously they're older, but like if you have someone who's older than you, who's your guardian, they're looking up to you probably because they're probably plateaued and stuck in their own life. So be that person that's going to give them that life when they look at you.
And so you're like also talking with an intensity.
I am.
Kind of feel like you're yelling at me, like I'm the child, but I'm not. I'm just going to stand up and say that right now. No, I'm just kidding. I say that to say that you're talking with this intensity, like this passion, this fire, this like almost yelling at us kind of way about you. I don't know if you realize it, because I know you're being passionate, but somebody else may be saying, damn, shut up, you're being too loud. Why are you all
probably
mad right now? But it's because you care, and you talk to yourself and your emotions with that same intensity, if not more.
All the time.
So
actually, yeah, I'm holding it back because I'm much more harder on
aggressive
myself
with yourself
than here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not me. Understand that. If you're still watching, I say it a lot, but understand that it's not me. That whatever's in you right now isn't. It's not you that doesn't like what you're hearing. It's whatever is inside of you that I'm saying, because I have done it, that doesn't like what I'm saying right now. So understand that. You have to accept that there's something in you that doesn't like it, because you're gonna get better if you do and think like in this type of way. I think there's a spirit. There's two different spirits. And there's a lot of branches, but there's two main spirits. There's a good spirit and a bad spirit. If you listen to the way Chris talks, if you listen to a lot of Goggins and a lot of the way these people talk, they talk with this level of intensity. A lot of rich people, like rich mentally, not just wealth, but they talk with this mentality, like this intensity. It's like, gosh, they're a lot of energy. But I think there's a spirit within every single one of them that, that bounces around. There's the opposite spirit. There's another one that's a negative one that's in everybody all the way who's having, and that it was in me. And you have to beat it out. You got to beat it out. You can't accept
sometimes daily.
Sometimes daily. It is daily. It's all day, actually. Like it's all day. But it's no excuse, and I'll calmly say again, you're worth it, and you can do it, and you can do it, and you can do it, and you will do it. Don't say I can't. I will. You may not see it, but you will. Just put in the actions, put in the work. It'll just happen. It just happened. I'm in my journey right now, and it's happening. And I refuse to go back to anything that I was. All I want is people around me who are going to help me excel to get to that next level of whatever it is I'm supposed to be going. And I'm doing it with myself.
Awesome.
All right. I love you.
Love you too. Thanks
Love
for having me.
you.
Love you.
I appreciate it. That's a lot. All right. Thank you everybody for watching. And love yourself so you can go love someone else. All right. Thanks, Mom.